The scariest layoff of 2026 was not the biggest. It was Meta, because Meta told you the truth. $70 billion spent, 4 years. An entire company renamed after a vision. And on January 13th, 2026, Mark Zuckerberg sent 1,500 people a notification and moved on. No struggle, no crisis, record revenue. The cuts happened because A, I made those people optional, and your employer is running the same numbers right now. The question is not whether this is coming. The question is whether you will see it before the notification arrives. Tuesday morning, January 13th, 2026, every Reality Labs employee at Meta opened their inbox to a single, impersonal post. 1,500 roles gone, effective immediately. There were no performance reviews, no warnings, no whispered rumors in the hallways. Just a bulk notification, subject line, important update on staffing, and a link to a human resources FAQ. The message did not mention merit or mistakes, or even the word metaverse. It called the move a strategic realignment. Minutes later, the Slack channel for Reality Labs was pinned with the same announcement. At 8:50 a.m., a calendar invite appeared. All hands, 10 minutes from now, mandatory. Chief Technology Officer Andrew Bosworth called it the most important meeting of the year. No one knew what that meant until they joined. There were no managers on the call, no team leads offering comfort or explanation. Only Bosworth, reading from a script, explaining that Meta was doubling down on AI and refocusing resources. Employees were told to stay on the call, wait for further instructions, and then just silence. By 9:05 a.m., the Human Resources portal updated. For those affected, a single word appeared next to their name: separation. A button below read accept. 48 hours to sign the paperwork and begin the exit process. Slack channels vanished, badges were deactivated, and a follow-up email listed every game studio and engineering team that was now erased. 3 studios, years of work, top titles, entire creative legacies. Gone in less than half an hour. No one-on-one meetings. No appeals, no time to process what had happened. For the engineers and designers who had believed in Meta's vision, the future was rewritten in 25 minutes. With a single notification, 3 studios vanished in a single email: Armature Studio, Twisted Pixel, and Sanzaru Games. These weren't side projects. They were the crown jewels of Meta's VR push. The teams behind Resident Evil 4 VR, Deadpool VR, and Asgard's Wrath. Years of design, code, and creative risk were wiped out in the time it takes to refresh an inbox. There were no transition plans, no winding down, just a list. Your studio, your game, your badge, gone before lunch. The fallout didn't stop with games. Supernatural, the VR fitness app Meta acquired for $400 million and once called a cornerstone for the metaverse, was shifted into maintenance mode overnight. No new features, no roadmap, just a skeleton crew to keep the servers running. The promise of daily workouts and community vanished. With a single directive, Meta Workrooms, the VR for business platform launched with fanfare as the future of remote collaboration, was closed without public notice. It was quietly removed from internal priorities, and its engineering teams were told to wrap up and move on. The platform that once symbolized Meta's ambitions for virtual workspaces now survives only as a footnote in old product demos. For the people who built these products, there was no public thank you, no final retrospective, only the sterile language of corporate strategy, resources refocused, Investments shifted, priorities realigned. Chief Technology Officer Andrew Bosworth's message to the Wall Street Journal made it official. Meta was moving on from the metaverse, investing instead in wearables and AI. Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp teams remained untouched. Only the dreamers who bet on the metaverse found themselves erased in an instant. $70 billion. That's how much Meta poured into Reality Labs between 2021 and 2025, an amount that could have funded a new city or bought every NFL team outright. Quarter after quarter, the division bled cash. In 2022, it lost $13.7 billion. In late 2024, it lost $6 billion. And to close out 2025, it lost another $6.02 billion, all for a vision that never reached escape velocity. The numbers tell the story. Horizon Worlds, the flagship metaverse platform, peaked at just 300,000 monthly users in 2022. By the end of 2025, fewer than 200,000 remained. That's less than the population of a mid-sized American suburb, spread across a platform built to change how billions interact. Revenue from Reality Labs barely cracked $2.3 billion across those years, while losses piled up at 30 times that amount. No mass adoption, no viral moment. Only a widening gap between investment and reality. The studios that ship top-rated games, the engineers who spent years on hardware breakthroughs, even the VR fitness app Meta, bought for $400 million, did not move the needle. The losses became routine, absorbed into quarterly filings. While Wall Street waited for signs of a turnaround that never came, the economics were unsustainable. The fantasy of a metaverse for everyone collided with the fact that almost no one showed up. Something had to give. For Meta, the answer was as cold as a spreadsheet. Stop funding the dream and follow the money elsewhere. Inside Meta's headquarters, the language changed before most employees noticed. By mid-2025, the word metaverse had already vanished from executive memos and earnings calls. Andrew Bosworth, once the public face of Reality Labs and its virtual reality ambitions, quietly updated his LinkedIn. His new title was Head of AI Products. No press release, no company-wide announcement. The division that spent years building digital worlds was now steered by the same leader, but his portfolio had shifted to artificial intelligence and wearables. Research and development dashboards showed the transformation in numbers, not slogans. 70% of Reality Labs' research budget now flowed to AI-enabled smart glasses and related devices. Traditional virtual reality hardware and software, once the company's moonshot, faced year-over-year budget cuts. The augmented reality research division, focused on smart eyewear, grew its headcount by 8%, even as virtual reality software teams shrank by double digits. Shipment numbers told the rest of the story. In the third quarter of 2025, Meta shipped roughly 150,000 prototype AI smart glasses to partners in the US and South Korea, nearly double the Quest headset output for the same period. Patent filings for AI vision and wearable sensors soared, while virtual reality hardware patents declined. The company's public language shifted with the numbers. Press releases now promised AI-first imaging and personal AI devices, not virtual worlds. The pivot was not a retreat. It was a cold, calculated bet on a new future, one that left the builders of the old vision behind, even as the next wave of products rolled out faster than the company could keep them in stock. Investors barely flinched. The morning Meta cut 1,500 Reality Labs jobs. The company's stock price jumped 2% before noon. erasing billions in human effort with a single market reaction. Wall Street did not ask about the personal cost. They asked about cost savings. $2 billion a year, according to Meta's chief financial officer, trimmed from the books in one move. The logic is clean, almost surgical. Announce a pivot to AI, cite efficiency, and the market rewards you. Microsoft, Amazon, Alphabet, all have made similar moves in the last 2 years, each time linking layoffs to automation or algorithmic productivity. Each time, share prices tick up, at least for a week. Scholars and labor advocates have begun to sound alarms. MIT's Sloan School warns that algorithm-driven layoffs, where decisions are made by code rather than managers, strip away any sense of procedural fairness. The AFL-CIO and Electronic Frontier Foundation have called for mandatory audits and transparency, arguing that when an algorithm is blamed, workers have no way to appeal, no language to challenge the system. Yet the market seems to prefer it that way: quick, impersonal, and irreversible. For companies, the message is clear: efficiency sells. For workers, the rules of the game are rewritten, and the referees have left the field. Ask yourself one question: how safe is your job from the next algorithmic cut? The roles that vanished first at Meta weren't entry-level or expendable. They were stable, mid-career jobs. Software engineers, hardware designers, technical product managers. These were people who once believed their skills were too specialized, too valuable to replace. But the data is clear. In tech, nearly 4 out of 10 software engineering jobs face automation risk by 2030. Product managers, hardware engineers, even creative designers are all vulnerable, all documented as targets in the latest labor studies. The safest ground is work that's physical, deeply human, or rooted in real-world judgment. Skilled trades, direct negotiation, leadership roles that can't be reduced to code. Don't wait for a warning. Interrogate your own work. Can your tasks be mapped, measured, or handed to a system? If so, start building a buffer. Financial planners recommend 3 to 6 months of living expenses, ready to go. Upskill before the gap opens beneath you. Google AI Essentials, Microsoft's free AI training, and Coursera's industry certificates are all designed for fast pivots and are recognized by hiring managers across the sector. Don't trust that your employer will give you 4 years of signals, or even 4 days. The next notification could arrive on any Tuesday morning. Will you recognize it before it lands in your inbox? Today, the only warning for 1,500 Reality Labs employees was a Tuesday notification with no review and no recourse. AI now writes the script, and the market erases the fallout by morning. The next algorithmic decision could target your role. Will you recognize the signals before the system moves on? Share your story below.